Hello, dear friends. This is Pylyp Orlyk, member of Ukrainian parliament and leader of the political party Holos. I'm speaking from Kiev, Ukraine. Today we will talk about Ukraine's constitution because we mark 30-year anniversary and celebrate today. We will talk about the situation in Crimea and the significance of Ukrainian operations there. And we'll talk about overall state of things and how the war is going on. But before we start, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and leave a comment. I read them, I reply to them, and I really appreciate the opportunity to communicate directly with you, my audience. Thank you. So what is important to know about Ukraine's constitution is that no matter that we are celebrating right now only the 30th anniversary since it was written and voted in, since we have obtained our independence in 1991, in fact, the constitution is actually very old, and it is based on the previous constitution that Ukraine had, written in 1710 by Hetman Pylyp Orlyk. So current Ukraine's constitution is very much based on it and has all the key points like the separation of the different branches of power, that Ukraine is a parliamentary presidential republic, so it's switching from the monarchy, from any other form of rules, and that Ukraine's nation and Ukraine's people have the power and are defining where Ukraine is going and what is its future. It is so critically important for us both to be able to celebrate the 30-year anniversary at these tough times. It's an incredible honor for me as a parliamentarian to be able to continue the work of our founding fathers who have written it and then voted for it in Ukraine's Rada. But it is also important for us to remind the world that Ukraine was fighting for its freedom and independence for centuries. And there were so many attempts for us to have our own independent state. And the fact that we are fighting right now, it's not because we just decided that. It's because it was our nation's tragedy to always have somebody who would try to control over us and have us as a part of their empire. And that the dream that was fulfilled in 1991 is something that we are paying an enormous price for. Ukraine is an independent country. We are a sovereign state. And right now we are in process of regaining our territorial integrity. The situation in Crimea. So, once again, reminder, Crimea is Ukraine. It was occupied by Russia in 2014, but we never gave up on it and we never have agreed with the fact of the occupation. Same is for our eastern territories in Donetsk and Luhansk. What is going on right now is that Ukraine was able to destroy the logistic paths in Crimea, so that it's very hard for Russia to deliver any sort of energy resources, any sort of gas and oil subproducts. And it allows us to decrease Russia's ability to attack us from the Crimean peninsula. What is going on right now is a result of a long-term operation where Ukraine firstly destroyed Russia's fleet in Crimea, then Russia's ability to supply and restore the fleet in Crimea, then Russia's ability to deliver certain resources there by any other means than so-called Crimea Bridge. Also, the land bridge at the south of Ukraine that was so critical for Russia to, again, connect Crimea with the temporarily occupied territories and with Russian territories, right now is under the fire control. So basically what is happening right now, Crimea becomes isolated. And many Ukrainian military officials have said that this is just the beginning. So for us, it's not only a matter of of making sure that Russia is losing their presence there. It's also a matter of critical defense for us, because many recent attacks for the last 4 years have been launched from Crimea and from the maritime territories that they were able to control. So there are many reasons, starting from the justice reason, but also a reason for the military protection and a reason for weakening Russia all in all. There is a political reason as well, because Crimea was a jewel of Putin's rule, that he said that he was expanding Russia's territories, and if Donetsk and Luhansk were rather territories that Russia added to the empire, saying that they were always Russian, with the Crimea, it was a real expansion that Putin was selling to Russian people as this fantastic resort territory with like an long history and obviously immense strategic significance. Right now, it is all going away. As we say, it has started with Crimea and it will end with Crimea. And Ukraine obviously intends to get the peninsula back. What is happening on the ground is that for the last 7 days, Crimea experiencing a very complex but intense fuel shortage. And for the country, as Russia claims that they were the leader of oil production, etc., it shows the weakness of Putin and the weakness of Russia, that they are not able to deliver gasoline and oil byproducts even to their temporarily occupied territories. We have seen, and probably you have seen, the long lines in front of the gas stations. We have heard the temporarily occupied officials saying that they stop selling gasoline to anybody who is not military, and that right now there is no foreseeable future where the situation will be definitely changed. We see that people are trying to leave Crimea, and they are doing it through this so-called Crimea bridge. We also understand, and Ukraine's officials were very open with Ukrainians who are there right now, that we really apologize for the situation that is happening for them. But this is the path of how we are returning Crimea back to Ukraine. And we also know that Russia has done the same way as they were doing to all the occupied territories for centuries, that they have moved many Russians there who have taken the apartments that were forfeit by people who didn't accept the annexation, who were buying stuff from people who really left. So there are many people from Russia, from different regions, who were moved to Crimea. Our message to them is leave. Leave right now. Leave while you can. Ukraine is a sovereign state. We are not giving up on our territories. We are not giving up on our people. And we will come back for what is ours. And you see the process of it. Losing Crimea would be a massive hit for Putin. This is why many Ukraine's military officials are saying that this is one of our goals for the foreseeable future. We hope and have finger crossed and are working on all the levels, military, political, economical, social, to achieve this goal, and to make sure that at some point the logistics to Crimea will become impossible. Then the military would be stuck without the supplies, and then they will have to leave. And Crimea will return to Ukraine as it was always a part of Ukraine, a sovereign independent country, as our constitution reminds us right now and since 1991. The positive news on the international arena, since the situation in Iran sort of calmed down, the United States did not prolong the exception for Russia to allow them to sell their oil and oil products. And so right now the sanctions are still on. We hope that the US position wouldn't change, And we hope that President Trump will see Putin's bluff starting right now and will really understand that Putin can offer him nothing. In fact, the best thing Putin can offer right now to American president is to make him a peacemaker. What Ukraine can offer American president now is to be a victor, to be a winner, to stand behind Ukraine and allow us to finish our operations and to liberate our territories. We are sure that we can do it. There were so many promises that were not delivered on by our partners. Right now is a time for everybody to step up and then to be at the head of a military parade, then to have streets named after them. And this is something that Ukraine can deliver on, and this is something that we have promised and over-delivered. With that being said, the attacks on Kiev and other cities obviously continue, and we are trying to remain positive because we know that every day is hard. We are praying for our military who are fighting at the front line and who are trying to return our territories back to Ukraine, preserving the lives of Ukrainian people and making sure that we will get to the point where Russia would not be able to attack us again. This is very critical for us. And at the days like this, when we are talking about constitution, when we are talking about democracy and sovereignty and territorial integrity, it makes sense to remember what it is all for and to look back into the centuries of Ukrainians fighting for the same thing. We are responsible to finish the job and make sure that our kids, our children will not have to repeat it again over and over. This is our responsibility. Thank you. Remember how in 2022 they said we shouldn't humiliate Putin? We also remember.